Hello, Gunpla Seed fans. It is Speedball Harlan today for you guys. I have for you the review of the Freedom versus Calamity Full Mechanics Gunpla Clash review. And in other words, guys, I am doing the review to compare the two Full Mechanics seed kits that we have currently of the 1100 GCP Gundam Freedom and the, of course, 1100 Gundam Calamity. And these two kits were impressive to build. I admit that I was impressed with all the details these two come with out of the box. It's impressive, it's fun, and that's one reason why I liked building these two. Though I have to say, certain kits were very impressive over the other, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's start with details as I was mentioning. Well, pretty much paneling these kits were fun because all the extra molded detail that you can bring out with that really looks nice. I love the fact that they added so much detail. I mean, honestly, when you build either one of these two, they don't even look like their original anime designs because the Calamity has more of a sharper edges in many ways, where of course its original design has more smoother sections. And the Freedom, of course, here is based with the 1/100, the 1/1 scale version of himself, or the Freedom statue, as many know it as. And it is a really nice because they add a lot of extra details to it. In fact, one example is like, let's see if I can bring it up. If you guys can see it in there right there. And I know that sounds bad, but when you look between his crotch here, to the back skirt armor here, the orange part you see in there, that of course I detailed, but that is actually on the 1/1 scale version. They added extra armor and color and such to the actual statue version of this guy. So that was interesting that the kit itself actually has the ability to do the same when you, of course, add a little detailing to it. And the Freedom here, as you guys can just see right out of the box right here, he's got a lot of extra, all this cool molding detail on the shoulders, the chest, all that cool stuff. It's a lot of fun. And one of the reasons I like the Calamity kit, especially, is that almost everything you see right now, guys, is out of the box, as in color separation. There is practically no paint requirements to this kit. I mean, I'll get to the parts you do need if you want, but pretty much out of the box, he's color separate. It amazes me how much they worked on this kit to keep it without the need of paint, stickers, and all that. That really impressed me because for those who've built a number of older seed kits, especially, there was always a need for paint, sadly, for the older ones. But yeah, and as you can see, I love that part about them. And let's get to the differences now between them because, as I mentioned, they are both full mechanics kits, but they are not the same. For those who might know or should know this by now, the Calamity uses a special frame system in its body, which can be reused for other seed units, or as it's called, the GOT frame system, which I have the runner right here so you guys can see the name right there. Which, why would they give a kit a system like that when, it's just going to be for the one kit, right? No. In this kit's case, it's a system that has been designed to be reutilized for other mobile suits, of course, from Seed, and for other full mechanics-based kits that will, of course, follow this kit, which, as we already know, there are at least two others right now in the Seed line, which are, of course, the Raider, of course, and, of course, his P-Band-A exclusive Ale version, which I definitely am going to be checking that out at a point, guys. But yeah, that's what I love about this kit. One of the reasons is because that system indicates something else that many may not have thought about too much. And that is, since it is called the GOT frame system, that indicates that they're going to be using that frame for other GOT-based mobile suits, which, if you know your seed well, there's a good number. And for example, guys, besides, of course, the Calamity, the Raider, and hopefully soon the Forbidden, there are a bunch of fan-favorite Federation-based suits with that in them. For example, of course, you got the very addicted Strike, the Duel, the Buster, the Aegis, and so forth. And those kits, I'm not going to say they wouldn't give them a full mechanics version, guys, because at first I thought, nah, they probably wouldn't give the OG units ones. But then again, we did get a Freedom, so I'm not going to say they won't, but I'm sort of hoping they won't in that sense because, of course, we have master grades, SDs, HGs, etc. And honestly, I would love is if they used the frame system to give us other mobile suits that have not gotten attention in a long time, guys, because there's a good number of GOT-based units that could definitely get some kits. One simple example I'll give you is, ooh, how about what do you guys think if we got a Strike Dagger full mechanic kit? I mean, for one, the Strike Dagger has not gotten any other kit in a long time. I mean, the only kits it actually has is the original advanced grade kit, which, I mean, yeah, it got one kit, but I mean, the advanced grade guys of Seed were very, very cheap, so to speak. They were very simple, very basic, and very little, well, ability, as in no articulation and so forth. And though we got a Strike Dagger out of it, which was really cool, but that's it. The only other one that we have is the Slaughter Dagger, which is pretty much a recolor, of course, of the dagger, but we don't actually have a standard version, which you'd think by now we would. I mean, there's plenty of molds they could use to make one, but they haven't, so Bummer. But then again, being that Seed has gotten a number of grunt-based 1/100 kits like the Zaku Warrior line and the, of course, recent Jin line, I think it would be pretty cool if they decided to use the God Frame to give us other grunts suits from the Federation forces to join the 100 line from Seed, because then, you could have a setup of ZAF-based Master Grade grunts versus the Federation grunts in full mechanics forms. I think that'd be cool. But, however. So yeah, enough about that. Let's take a look closer at these guys, because one thing I do need to mention, guys, as I was just stating, the frames these two use are different. And this Freedom, I gotta be honest with you guys, it feels more like an RE 1/100 than a full mechanics 1/100. Now, I'm not saying that in a bad way, guys, in a sense, because yes, REs are well-loved, fan favorites, etc. But what I mean is, when you compare the Calamity's framing setup to his, yeah, there's more frame in him than there is in him. So, I mean, literally, just only like the chest area and just knee joints and such have the system. There's not really like a lot more than that. And another reason I say it feels more like an RE, guys, because it utilizes polycaps in its body, not a lot, but it does use some, whereas the Calamity here, which is just a feat of genius in this sense, not a single polycap. Yeah, nothing. It's all plastic, and that's a plus for a kit, guys. Always remember that. If it's a kit that doesn't have a single polycap in it, that's like pretty much a gold star right there on its review, because people love that part, because polycaps can tend to give out, fall apart, rip apart, loosen up, etc., guys. So that's one reason why this kit is really good, because it doesn't have that flaw. But the Freedom, however, guys, I'm sorry to tell you guys, that flaw is in it. Because if you've noticed the way I've posed him, I only post him like this to start the video, but you might notice that the Freedom is looking towards an upward angle. Well, that wasn't my intention. I was trying to stick him just standing upward so you can see it, but unfortunately, he has a waist polycap right here in the chest area, which, you'd think would hold it up, but, well, as you guys can see, just for him standing without any support, of course, that's what happens. It starts angling himself downwards, and luckily, of course, with the wings, he of course catches himself. But yeah, as you can see, it looks like he's either looking that way at his opponents, or he's he's got a bad back. But sadly, yeah, that is a flaw to this one kid, is that polycap there cannot hold up the back pretty well. Whereas the Calamity, however, keep in mind he's got a big backpack too, and nothing. He's standing straight up. I've left him in this pose for hours and hours with not a single bend. Nothing. He'll stay standing up perfectly, just like that, with not a problem. So yeah. So now let's finish up with the detailing with, of course, color separation. As I mentioned, the Calamity, pretty much as you see it, perfectly out of the box. Practically nothing's needed, minus just some minor details like I was stating. Let's see. For me, I of course painted his eyes. I love that, and that's a gimmick I liked about this kit too, is that they gave him a clear eye setup. So what I do with those kind of kits is I paint behind the visor part, so when lights go through the face, the light will reflect off the paint, and it'll actually look like his eyes are turning on, and I love that part. So that's just one normal detail. Let's see, the scope here. Let me see if I can get that. There you go. The scope there needs a little bit of paint, nothing major, nothing unnormal, let's put it that way. The only big paint detail you need for this kit, and it's seed, so it's pretty much a common one, and that is, hold on, is the vernier section right there, guys. All that paint there is, it's normally gray, so, but that's not a bad thing, guys, because I've built a number of seed kits, and I've learned that those with the red vernier, usually, they're usually stickers, or you have to paint them, simply put. So yeah, other than that, it's just the chest detail I brought out with a little black in there, and that's it. He's just pretty much paneling after that, and well, there you go, boom. He's good. And as for the Freedom, well, he also, sadly, he does require some paint, other than, of course, the normal eyes. And to show you how much, well, there's the sticker sheet. Yeah, there's a number of spots he needs paint for. Now, of course, understand, some of these are actually for the new details that were added to the kit. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, for regular details as well. So you, of course, have the normal sensors, which is a normal thing. These beam sabers do not stay in well. Let's see, what else? Oh, I added extra detailing to the shield, because I always try to make it accurate-wise to the anime. So yeah, there's that. What else? Oh, just like the Calamity, the red vernier sections right in the leg there. Let's see, what else? Same with the back of his leg. Let's take a look right there. And the orange you see here, guys, that is actually part of the new detail for the statue. Same with the small gold part you see here. That's part of the statue, not the actual Freedom. And that section right there between his butt. Yeah, and of course the standard Back veneers and such all needed paint for the gray and the inner red as well. Let's see. Oh, and if you can see it, guys, I'm going to try to get it in there. Right there. That vernier in here as well. So yeah, you guys get the point, right? A lot of the verniers on this kit. Yeah, they needed detailing. The minor black inside the cannon, of course. Oh, the wings. Let's see. This gray part up here, yeah, that's paint. So you guys can pretty much take a guess that, like I've stated, this kit sadly does require some paint. Even if you weren't going with the full statue look, yeah, you would still need a little extra detailing in that sense for certain parts, guys. So yeah. And as you guys can see, without me putting the wings in a certain angle, he will tip over on his own. So sadly, I'll try to get him to stand up without the need of a stand, but yeah, he doesn't want to stand up that well because of his back weight, sadly, guys. So yeah. But let's go into articulation, guys. Let's start with the Calamity. Now, this kit was no problems with the articulation. Nothing's loose. See? I'll shake him. I'll shake him as much as possible. Nothing. See? So let's go. You can do a full 360 of the arm in and out to a point due to his, of course, shoulder armor. Now, the cool gimmick is the shoulder here has an extension in the chest area. See? Right there. You could actually pull that out, and now he has extra armor to smack you with. Aww. I love that. That's a cool gimmick. I like that. Let's see. His shoulder has a bit of a gimmick there with that. Though, be careful. You can pop these parts here out pretty easily. I don't want to, but I'm just letting you know. Let's see. Okay, cannon-wise, of course, you can tell he can shoot. He can shoot people in the back from his back if he wanted to. And of course, his cannons can actually rotate. I like that. I like that because understand the original kit he had did not have that gimmick, so there is that. Though, be aware you can bump the head though by certain angles if you push the cannons in too far. Just a heads up. Let's see. Let's go to waist. He sadly does not have a big waist articulation, though that's due to the armor in the back and such, so it's going to bump it a little, so sadly, but I don't think you're going to try to turn him all the way around, guys. But you can, however, but he does have a side-to-side motion from here, so I love that. And now he can just wiggle his way into battle. And of course, he of course has like, ooh, right, forgot about that. Yes, the ball jointed upper skirt, which is fine. I just forgot that was there for a second. So yeah, you can of course push him all the way out that way, and if you move the skirts around, of course, you can do it this way, and once again, out this way. And he has that joint system where you can, of course, adjust the legs back. See, right there. So you can, of course, put him into different angled poses and such. And of course, knee bend all the way back. And of course, he has feet articulation and toe articulation just for the fun of it, right? Oh, and a vernier articulation in the back here. Not, a big amount, but something. Let's see. And of course, he has very good head articulation. And yes, you can, of course, turn his head to a point, but due to the neck space, his head will bump into stuff at a point, but I don't think you're going to intentionally turn his head all the way around, to be fair. So, yeah. So that's the Calamity. And now we'll take a good look at the Freedom. Even though, yes, you can already see, as I've been mentioning about the Freedom and its polycap problems. But, we'll go through it. But first, let me take off the gun in the back. Sorry, guys, that will get in the way. I know it will. So it's and the beam sabers. So yeah, keep that in mind. This kit's beam saber holders do not hold them well. They will pop off easily. And now we go into the arm. Full 360 because of the ball jointed shoulder. He can move his shoulder all the way out that far. Be careful though, because of the shoulder armor itself can be popped off pretty easily. It literally just clicks right in, but it can be clicked right out. So yeah. And as for arm articulation, he can of course bend his arm all the way up. And of course ball jointed hands, meaning he can do the whole 360 there. And well, as you've been seeing with the waist, he can definitely bend backwards, as you can see. But he can bend forwards, back and forth, and yes, he can go all the way around. Though be careful, though, like I was mentioning before, the polycap in the waist can easily pop out, guys, see? Just to show you. And of course, you can, of course, go all the way out, especially when you adjust the armor. Now, because of the back armor, though, you can only go so far. Though, because of its design, you can move around it, so that's easy to work around. You can, of course, ooh, that was my bad. Yes, he has a swivel joint in the leg, so of course he can go all the way around if he wanted to. 360 that way, out, and yes, he has feet articulation, toe articulation, and up and down, and so forth. And yes, the side, his skirt armor can move, though it can't move outwards, it can only move back and forth. And now, of course, the wings. the biggest part of him. Yes, they have articulation too. They, of course, can move outwards for flight posing, upwards for the cannon fire, and, of course, when you're opening the wings up for hits. See my point, guys? 1 second. And there you go, guys. See? His wings come out all the way. They do have, of course, all have folding articulation to fold back in. And yes, you can, of course, let's just move these back in, and there's the cannon. And it has a really cool swivel gimmick, though. I like that about this. You actually have a swivel now, so if you wanted to, just for fun, there you go. You got a new cannon pose for the Freedom, if you wanted. That's pretty cool. I do like that about this, though it's a very simple joint setup. As you guys can see, it literally just pegs into the wing just like that and, well, holds it in place, though it can be, of course, swiveled out easily. So yeah, there's that. And of course, lastly, his bigger guns for his waist. Of course, these have to have articulation to fire, and of course, they even have a little handle right there on the inside. And there's that, as you guys can see, and no dirty thoughts. And they just fold back up. Pretty simple like that. They connect into one another, so you don't have to worry about it falling out, guys. They peg in perfectly, pretty well, so I do like that. And there you go. There's the articulation for these two, and that's about it for that, guys. So other than that is accessories now. Well, the Calamity, pretty much as you see him. He doesn't come with beam sabers because, he doesn't use beam saber based normal beam saber weapons that I am aware of. There's, of course, his other certain variant we know of, but, well, he doesn't have those right now. Only thing he comes left over with is a spare hand that you, of course, can just swap with the fingers there, which is, of course, the standard seat-style hands for the 1/100s. Easy and lovable. And the Freedom, well, he doesn't really need to use that because he actually comes with 2 holding hands, because right now I got his open hands. Yeah, that's, yeah, he just got those. His really nice beam gun, which I do like. Trust me, the older HD versions of these guns were a pain, guys, because you always had to paint the trim right there, and that was always a pain for me. And of course, his dual wielding beam sabers, which can connect, if you're wondering. I'm a Jedi now, guys. Other than that, of course, you have the standard beam saber parts. Yeah, I just haven't decided to put them on. And the biggest leftover that you'll have for him is, well, as I was mentioning earlier about REs, polycaps that literally are from an RE, I believe. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, the biggest gimmick that the Freedom here will come with, of course, is its special stand setup, which, if you give me 1 second, guys, you'll see right now. And there it is, guys, his special GCP 1-to-1 statue variation stand setup, as you guys can see, which is really nice because not a lot of kits come with their own stands in a sense, and this one comes with a very, well, different stand, so to speak, because, well, normally, of course, stands would, well, have the long arm to attach it to for flight poses and other such things, where, well, as you can see, guys, this stand doesn't. And the reason for that is, of course, let's drop anything. You guys see, it's just literally just one piece. There's no ports, nothing. There's these on the bottom, but that's just probably from the printing. But yeah, that's it. This is just a flat piece of board. You could actually probably eat off this if you wanted to. In fact, here, see, I'm gonna eat some candy now. But yeah, that's just it for that. And for the body, you of course get 2 other things, and that are these leg attachments for the wings. Because, well, as you've been seeing, guys, this Freedom, well, unfortunately, cannot hold up its weight without a little back support. And that's exactly what's on the statue version, are these exact same plants that, of course, will keep him in his standing pose without it falling over. And as you guys can see, of course, I put the Freedom here in a shooting pose, so you guys can see him, well, holding his gun, which is really nice. And yes, if you were wondering, the shield just pegs onto the elbow right there. It's adjustable, of course, if you want to take the handle off and just have the shield, or, put it in a different angle for holding it, etc., guys. Same like that. The Calamities is a little different, though. It actually uses an arm, little joint system, which pushes the handle upwards or backwards if you wanted. So yeah, that's it there. Oh, and if you were wondering, guys, because I'm sure it's a lot of fans thought, the backpack on both the Freedom and the Calamity are detachable, of course, but there is something to note. The Calamities are detachable, but unfortunately, the Calamity is usable by any other master grade seat kit. Any one of them can use his pack, and he can use theirs. Blah blah blah. Freedom, however, is not. it's a different attachment to the back there, so sadly it won't plug into normal Master Grade kits if you wanted to use these wings on something else. Sorry, guys. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Oh, wait, before we'll do some size comparisons. And lastly, guys, it's time to do the size comparison. So let's see. Since we got two, we'll do it by twos. We first have, of course, we have the Freedom. So you, of course, got to compare it with his original Freedom. I figured why not? It's an old kit I've had. And it's time to compare him with his latest variation in size and detail. And, well, since I got a Freedom, I got to add a Calamity. As you guys can see, size is definitely a difference, and detail is definitely a lot different on both of them. So yeah, you can definitely see how much, well, one has grown and one has completely evolved, so to speak. So, okay, and now let's do one more comparison with a fellow 1/100th scale, and that is my Gundam Double Zeta Evolve style, which, as you can see, is pretty tall. It's actually taller than the Freedom in most ways. And it just lines up barely with the Calamity in a sense. Now, of course, that's because this kit actually uses a Seed Master Grade interframe setup, so why not, right? So yeah, so my final thoughts, guys, in this clash of Seed Titans. What are my thoughts? Simply put, do I recommend? Who do I think is the better and such? And that is this. If you want my truthful opinion, the Calamity is the winner in this clash because this kit has a lot of cool functions, a lot of cool details, a lot of cool capabilities, and of course will later on, well, be the starting wave of many other kits to follow. And the Freedom, well, is not a bad kit, especially for an event exclusive kind of release, but well, it does have some flaws, guys, unfortunately. It almost felt like maybe this was like a quick release in a sense where, they had a design, but they had to get it moving along and, they just decided throw in poly caps and such for certain things to make it much quicker to release. So, it could have been that situation. It could be wrong. But so yeah, I would highly recommend the Calamity if you're looking for a Seed 1/100 kit, especially to what other kits may follow for the Seed line and such like that. But would I still recommend the Freedom either way? Yeah, I could still recommend it though, guys. I mean, if you're looking for a new Freedom to build, I mean, this is a new mold, guys. It's not like a recolor, a retool, or anything of past kits. It is an actual brand new kit. So if you are looking for a new Freedom to add to your collection, I could say, sure, check them out. Just, don't go crazy trying to buy it. Like if you find one for like 100 and something, no. Because keep in mind, guys, this is a G-base exclusive, so you're not going to find that easy compared to the Calamity here. Though with the just recent announcement of a new GCP combo set of the full mechanics and SD freedoms, you will, of course, have a chance to get it again if you missed the first time. So there's that. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I thank you all for coming. I thank you for your support. I hope you're enjoying your hobby, and you'll see me soon enough with more Seed to come. Thank you all for coming.